What is up, YouTube? Don't forget to like, subscribe, and click the bell button. Anyway, I've always wondered why bodybuilding is so niche. It's odd that it has such a little following, considering that so many people train like one every day at their local gyms. Yet, if you ask a majority of these people, they'll only be able to name the most popular bodybuilders, much the way a non-basketball fan knows Michael Jordan's name. In my opinion, it comes down to three factors. It's unrelatable, the blatant drug use, and poor marketing. Bodybuilding physiques have changed massively since the advent of the sport, going from a very aesthetic, proportioned physique to much more of an add as much muscle as possible physique. The mass monster was created because the weight contests began to be judged. Starting in the 90s, it was no longer who brought the best physique, but who brought the biggest. This is when bodybuilding had begun to lose its appeal to the casual fan. It was not relatable because people either found these massive physiques gross, or they couldn't envision themselves achieving it. They could picture themselves looking like Frank Zane or Arnold, regardless of whether or not they could. But many could never envision themselves looking like Ronnie Coleman in 2004. Bodybuilders became a different species of human, and along with that brought a lack of fandom. What is odd about it is that people like their comic book characters to be freaky and unrealistic looking, but when presented with a real human, they'd rather they look realistic. On top of this, many can't relate to their extremely regimented lifestyle. They have to eat at particular times, work out, and sleep religiously. Most people feel that it is not relatable because of their own hectic schedules. But what they fail to realize is no professional athlete's schedule is relatable, because they are just that, professional. This is their profession. Their job is to be a pro bodybuilder. Outside of being unrelatable, the openness of drug use in the bodybuilding world is a huge limiting factor in its growth. For a while, people had believed that bodybuilders achieved their physiques naturally. They didn't fathom that bodybuilders like Arnold had been using anything for enhancement. This is because few bodybuilders were open about their drug use until recently, and people generally derive negative thoughts and feelings towards athletes who use drugs. But in my opinion, in the case of a bodybuilder at the Mr. Olympia level, he gets no advantage over other athletes by using steroids. Everyone in the sport is using, creating a level playing field. Imagine if everyone in the Tour de France admitted to their use of PEDs. Would people stop watching too? Oddly enough, without drugs, bodybuilding would have never become popular. But because of drugs, it has become unpopular. The final reason that bodybuilding isn't popular is due to poor marketing. The IFBB, Mr. Olympia, Arnold Classic, and others market only to their niche audience. In the 70s and 80s, bodybuilding was broadcast on big networks like ESPN and NBC. But after 1984, it wouldn't be broadcast again until 2014. This decline in accessibility resulted in a decline in popularity. Only the big fans of bodybuilding would buy the CDs and VHSs to watch the Mr. Olympia. The casual fan was being cast out, and that continues to occur to this day. Fans of the Mr. Olympia have to pay to stream the show on their phones, tablets, or whatever else they may use. But why would someone who has no invested interest pay? I mean, I wouldn't fork out $50 to watch table tennis. What shows like the Mr. Olympia should do is make the show free to watch on streaming services like YouTube or Twitch, and by doing so, getting those who wouldn't usually watch to say, F it, it's free. I didn't start watching rugby because I was a fan, but because one day it was on TV and I clicked. The same thing could be possible for bodybuilding. They just need to decide if they want to continue to cater to the niche fan base or expand. Who knows, maybe a rise in popularity would see it become an Olympic sport like it has pushed for in the past.